Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another instalment of the QuickFire Quiz. My name is Mr. Chapman, and I am the Quiz Wizard. So, welcome back to those of you who have taken part in a quiz already at some point, and welcome to those of you who are new, and this is your first QuickFire Quiz today. You need something to write down with to take part in the quiz, so hopefully you have that to hand. Let's have a look at what our quiz has in store for us today. So, question 1. In the film Up, what does Carl use to move his house? In the film Up, what does Carl use to move his house? I think Mr. Chapman looks a little bit like Carl when I'm older. What does Carl use to move his house? Question 2. Maths. What is a seven-sided polygon called? What is a seven-sided polygon called? There's an example of one on your screen. What is a polygon with 7 sides called? Question 3. Be careful. What is the main clause in this sentence? Despite being dark and gloomy, the weather made him happy. Despite being dark and gloomy, the weather made him happy. What is the main clause in that sentence? If you're not sure, that's absolutely fine. I'll go through what a main clause is later on. Question 4, science. When a solid is heated, it changes into a liquid. What do we call this process? When a solid is heated, it changes into a liquid. What do we call this process? I've put a picture of ice cubes here to just maybe spark your imagination. What do we call that when something changes from a solid into a liquid? Question 5. Which singer won lots of awards for her pop song called Hello? Which singer won lots of awards for her pop song called Hello? Five more questions left. Question 6 is a history question. You've got some options here. What year did World War II begin? Was it 1939, 1940, or 1941? What year did World War II begin? 1939, 1940, or 1941? It's a very interesting topic to learn about. So you could be doing that today. Question 7. Maths, what is the mode of this data? 2, 5, 7, 2, 7, 2, 3. What is the mode of this data? 2, 5, 7, 2, 7, 2, 3. If you're sitting there thinking, oh, Mr. Chapman, I don't know what mode is, and you've guessed it, I will tell you when I go through the answers, and you can just make up some of your own questions again by just changing the numbers. Question 8. The cupboards were filled with tins of soup. What are the nouns in that sentence? The cupboards were filled with tins of soup. What are the nouns in that sentence? We've looked at nouns on a couple of other quizzes already, so think about what a noun is. The cupboards were filled with tins of soup. Question 9. Which country does the footballer Lionel Messi play for? Which country does the footballer Lionel Messi play for? This is a picture of him playing here for his club team, which is Barcelona, but what country does he play for? And the last question of the quiz today, and indeed of this week's set of quizzes, Question 10, how would you best describe a herbivore? How would you best describe a herbivore? Could there be a clue? Right then, that's the end of our quiz today. We've looked at synonyms, we've looked at antonyms. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think of as many synonyms, so words that mean the same, as good. Improving your vocabulary in your writing is really, really important. So you should not be using the adjective good in your writing. There are so many better alternative words. So you've got 30 seconds. I'll tell you when you've got 10 seconds left. Are you ready? Shout them out, write them down. Are you steady? 3, 2, 1, go. That's 10 seconds gone. Ten seconds left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put your pens down, or your tablets, or whatever you've been writing on today. There are lots of examples. So you may have some on my list. You may have some that aren't on my list. As long as you've got some, that's great. So here we go. Excellent, amazing, wonderful, pleasant, marvelous, exceptional, fantastic, super, outstanding, terrific, splendid, stupendous. Probably one of my favorite ones there. Stupendous. Look at these words. You don't need to use good. Okay. So let's go through the answers for today. In up, what does Carl use to move his house? Balloons. Lots and lots of colourful balloons. Question 2, what is a 7-sided polygon called? A polygon is any 2D shape made from straight lines. In regular polygons, the lengths are all the same length. In irregular polygons, they are not. So you could go away and think of any other polygons and how many sides they have. So, for example, you could have a triangle which has 3 sides. Question 3, what is the main clause in this sentence? Despite being dark and gloomy, the weather made him happy. The weather made him happy is the main clause. And this is because if you took the first part away, despite being dark and gloomy, it would still make sense on its own. The weather made him happy. Despite being dark and gloomy is the subordinate clause, adding extra information on. The weather made him happy also has a subject, a verb, and an object. It's about him, the verb is made, and the weather. Well done if you got that. That's a trickier question. Question 4, when a solid is heated, it changes into a liquid. We call this melting. All objects are made of particles. As you can see here, solid particles are really tightly packed. So when they get heated by something, they get more energy and they begin to become looser and move more fluidly as a liquid, okay? As you can see in the picture of liquid, they're not as tightly packed and they can move the particles can move a bit more freely. So melting ice cubes, melting chocolate, and melting butter are common examples. Question 5, Adele was the singer who won lots of awards for her pop song called Hello. Question 6, World War II started in 1939 on September the 1st. In World War II, every person, every business, every service was involved. British soldiers did not fight alone. The war involved many countries. I said it earlier, there are lots of things to research about World War II. Countries who took part, reasons it started, different types of weaponry. Adolf Hitler, key figure. That's something that you could do today as a mini project. 7, what is the mode of this data? So the mode in data handling is the number that occurs most often. So if we look at this example here, 1, 3, 3, 3, 4, 6, 9, and 10, there are 3 threes. So the mode for that set would be 3. So if we look at this set of data, 2, 5, 7, 2, 7, 2, 3, the best thing to do is to order those numbers from smallest to largest first, and you'd get 2, 2, 2, 3, 5, 7, 7. And you can see that 2 is the number on this data set that is used most often, the mode. Question 8. The cupboards were filled of tins of soup. So the nouns in that sentence, remember nouns are objects. So in this sentence, cupboards and tins of soup are common nouns. There are other types of nouns as well you might want to go and have a look at. Proper nouns, abstract nouns, collective nouns, compound nouns. Question 9. Lionel Messi plays for Argentina. Okay. Argentina, he's the captain of Argentina. And question 10. How would you best describe a herbivore? So a herbivore is an animal that gets its energy from eating plants and only plants. So herbivores such as deer, elephants and horses have teeth that are adapted to grind vegetable tissue. So there's a few examples in this picture, but could you go and find out some other examples and some facts about different herbivores? How did you get on today? I've really enjoyed today's quiz and I hope that you have as well. So please, it says come back tomorrow, come back for another quiz. Try one that you've missed, or come back on Monday for another set of 5 quizzes. But can you beat your score on the next one you take? Please come to the Quiz Wizard YouTube channel and subscribe, but ask mum, dad, and granddad, or your carers before you do that to get more information and updates about when a new quiz is uploaded. I'm also happy for you to tweet me at _quiz_wizard if you're allowed to do so, with your scores from today if you've taken part. If you want to send me some pictures of some of the work that you've done, then that's great as well. I've really enjoyed doing the quizzes today and this week. I hope you come back and do some more in the future. So the last thing for me to say today is class dismissed.